right into it. So, Shaune, we're going to have everyone introduce themselves first, and then we'll get into the arguments and we'll clarify what we're trying to argue today. So, go ahead and introduce yourself, Shaune.
Yeah, I'm just a believer in the messenger Elijah Muhammad, and I just came to defend the teachings, basically. Yep.
We're talking about Master Farrakhan's identity. Do you believe that the portrait photo obviously is real? Do you believe that the two newspaper photos, the Des Moines Times and the Detroit Free Press, are both valid photos, but you deny that the classic photo we're talking about that was supposedly from Detroit police in 1933, you say that's fake, and any other photo besides the two newspaper photos in the portrait are correct?
Yes, you're talking about the mug shot of supposedly from Detroit. Yeah, I believe that's from California.
Right. Okay. So yeah, and we'll probably share a screen and show all of these, but
Okay.
I basically believe that what you believe is that the two newspaper photos are the only real ones outside of the portrait. I do believe you believe that.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Peace to everyone listening. Assalamu alaikum. I hope everyone hearing me is in good health, as well as your families. Also, thanks to Shaune for agreeing to get on, and also for Alam for hosting this. I've been interested in the history of religious groups in the United States, specifically the Nation of Islam, because of friends that I have. Just a general interest in history and religion. I'm approaching this topic from a historical perspective. The Nation of Islam have done a lot of good things. All in all, I've defended them more than I've not. This is specifically about history. Even if Farad wasn't Ford, it's really not even essential to whether the religion would be correct or not. The past decade or so, hundreds of thousands of newspaper, court documents, genealogical information, and other photos and other documents have been digitalized. And as a result, a lot of books and scholarly journals and articles have been published on the historical content, just pretty much ranging from every topic imaginable. And a lot of people have unearthed a lot of the documents on W.D. Farad. And the more people out there, the better. To everyone listening, I would like to invite everyone listening to help study and also unearth more documents on W.D. Farad. For example, the ones you mentioned, the recently unearthed photo of W.D. Farad with the legendary Yugan Ali with detectives Barry and Snyder from the Des Moines Tribune. And shout out to Brother Bilal for discovering that in 2020, as well as the when they were covering the voodoo murders. And over the past few decades, just a plethora of documents and recently digitalized newspaper articles concerning W.D. Farad's life have been unearthed. And again, I'd like to reiterate that I'm looking at this from a historical and objective lens. And I'm just talking about one question, and that's whether W.D. Farad is the same person as W.D. Ford. And I think that the evidence is pretty clear that they are the same individual. If you don't mind, I'd like to just share this. Can you guys see the screen here?
Yes, sir.
So it's pretty definitive that the two men are the same individual, based on the photos, based on the public documents and records, interdependent existence. Wallace D. Ford and Wallace E. Farad have never existed independently of each other. I think a picture pretty much speaks 1,000 words here. These pictures have been recently released. Now, Shaune, you agree that this man here is W.D. Farad?
Yes, sir. And you know what? I have to say, I have to actually thank you, because it was you who made me think about it, because it was you who said, how can Master Farad Muhammad and Wallie D. Ford be in the same city both times at the same time? And that didn't make sense. So I had to come to the conclusion, yeah, that makes sense. That has to be him. and I have came to the conclusion Wallie D. Ford was never in Chicago or Detroit. He always been in California. So yes, that's definitely Mass Farad Muhammad, and the fact that the new picture, as you mentioned, with Ugan Ali came out, that really confirms.
Your claim that you're saying that WD Ford was never in Detroit.
No. Wallie D. Ford, Wallie, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Wallie
WD.
Ford.
That's WD. Wallie D. WD Ford. You're saying that WD Ford was not in Detroit.
Yeah, however you want to say his name. Yeah, he never been in Detroit or Chicago.
Okay, now this is coincidentally where Hazel said that Ford, Detroit.
So you're going off hearsay.
That's not off hearsay. There's documented evidence that he was there.
You seen it?
Yeah, and this is what I was going to get to.
Or yes, you seen it?
Yes, this is what I was about to get to too. We have the screen shared right here. Now, you admit that this person right here is Wallie D. Ford, right? Or Farad?
Yeah. Yep.
So you're saying that these two people are not the same individual?
Exactly. Look at the hairline.
The hairline is exactly the same.
How?
Yeah, the hairline is exactly the same.
In fact, look at the 32 picture of Master Farad Muhammad in 32 versus 1933. The hairline in 33 is more straight than the one in 32. How is that? How would that be?
Anyone could take a look at these pictures here. No, anyone could take a look at these pictures here, and this is interesting. I ran Amazon recognition, and they ran a 99.4% similarity between the two. Shaune, you can see the picture here, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so we have concrete documentation from the public record about Wallie D. Ford's life and his presence in Los Angeles from 1915 to 1929, right?
Who Wallie Ford, right?
Yeah, yes. No, just follow me for a second. So as soon as Wallie D. Ford disappears from public record in California, someone with the exact same name, look, weight, appearance, and public record in both Detroit and in Chicago. But how come there's not a single example of Wallie D. Ford and Wallie D. Farad existing independently of each other? And just
it is because they can have Master Farad Muhammad's arrest record in Detroit and have Wallie's record in California, and it's different. The weight, the height, and all that.
The arrest record that for Wallie D. Ford, there's three different examples here. There's three different pictures of Wallie D. Ford that we have that are from the San Quentin records. One of them is from when he got arrested the first time. Or when he got right when they got found guilty in it was May of 1926, and that's when they got booked in San Quentin. And then there was the June the 12th photo. Are you familiar with that one, Shaune?
June the 12th. What's that? When he was bald headed?
Yes, sir. Yeah, the one that's from June 12th, 1926.
Yeah, Wallie Ford, right?
Right. So those two are from San Quentin. Okay. And then there's the picture from there's the mugshot picture that was taken from 1933. Okay.
That's not 39. I don't agree that's 1933.
So when was this photograph right here? If you go to the Detroit if you go to the court record, then the arrest record for May of 1933 is this one right here. Now
I'm sure they have that in there, but that's not I don't believe that's because that's not Master Farad Muhammad. So I don't believe that's that picture. I don't believe that's accurate.
They're the same. They're the same individual as these pictures right here.
Okay, but again,
the hairline. Oh, yeah. Shaune, you mentioned the hairline, but also take a look at the ears. Take a look at the hairline right here.
I'm glad you mentioned the ears. They definitely different.
They're both pointy and protruding.
No, sir. Look at them from the side. Show Wallie D. Ford from the side. Show Master Farad Muhammad from the side.
They have the same. Here they are right here again. They're both.
No, I'm saying show Wallie D. Ford from the side.
Do you have that picture available by any chance, Alam or Shaune?
I don't have it available.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, here it is, right here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, his ears look protruding.
Yes. From this angle right here.
Well, okay, well that's your opinion then. So
take a look right here. Protruding means going out to the side. They're going out to the side. So a side picture right here wouldn't show as much of protruding as a facial is showing front on. Okay, and again, Amazon recognition. Take a look. Everyone could look right here. Amazon recognition has 99.4%. So you're saying that there was someone who looked exactly like WD Ford out and who happened to look exactly like Master Farad Muhammad?
But I'm saying, again, look at the hairline. The hairline on the right is from 32. The hairline on the left is from 33. How is the hairline on the left from 33 fuller than the left on 32?
They're the same. They're the same hairline. They both have. Take a look at this part. Everyone can look at this part specifically right here.
Got it.
Everyone can take a look at this one specifically right
here.
Put
a poll on it.
And again,
put a poll on that.
Oh,
and yeah, I guarantee you, I'm gonna win it.
Okay.
And if I don't, then I will say it's biased because that's crazy.
You can't do that. You're going to say it's biased if you lose. The other thing. Wait, Shaune. The other thing. Wait, I just want to mention this real quick.
Go ahead.
Minister Farrakhan acknowledged that WD Farad went by the name Ford as well.
Now, come on, Anton. You know how I feel about Lewis. We're not going to call him Farrakhan because that's a righteous name, and he's not righteous. So we're not gonna go there with him. You know how I feel about him.
Okay, fine. Okay. Also, the 1917 World War I draft registration card has the name Farad in Ford and also in parentheses. No, it also mentions his birthday is February the 26th, and that's a file that I have seen personally before.
You don't believe that could be fake?
Wait, can you?
Yeah, I hear you, Alon.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this is interesting. This is good so far. Mm-hmm. And I know I've seen it. I have it in my book. The Detroit arrest record. I believe it's the second time. The first time he's mentioned as black, the second time he's mentioned as white.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you could share that as well, the arrest record.
Second arrest record, let me see. Mm-hmm. It shows his name as Ford.
Right.
Let me see if I can pull that up.
Yeah, you talking about it says alias is Ford?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. In fact, I first seen it in Akon Arian's book. And then I think I found it on Google. But again, I don't know what that is because that's recent. That wasn't always around. So that could be fake. I don't know. But I could understand.
So any document that just disproves what you're saying, you're going to say is fake.
No, that's you saying that.
Shaune, we mentioned that.
I said about that specifically because look, you could mix Ford and Fard up real easy because it's just one letter that makes the difference. So I can understand somebody thinking Fard is Ford. So that's my point. So in that aspect, that like they claim that Master Farad Muhammad went by Professor Ford. Like y'all said, Lewis said that Master Farad Muhammad went by Mr. Ford. And that's that. Come on, that. But again, it makes sense that he would say that. But we know that ain't true because the messenger never said anything like that, and he don't have to say anything like that. I wouldn't believe it anyway. That don't even make sense. So,
I'm sorry, Shaune. Could you repeat the very last thing you said?
No, I'm saying about
the very tail end of what you said.
Yeah, about Master Farad Muhammad claiming to come into the using the alias Ford, Mr. Ford, as Lewis claimed. Like that doesn't make any sense, and the messenger never confirmed that. He wouldn't know. So where's he getting it from? He's getting it from where everyone else is getting it from.
Wait, you think Minister Farrakhan is involved in the whole the association that WD Ford is WD Farad? You think Minister Farrakhan is what Elijah
I have no idea. Said? I have no idea because it's kind of mind-boggling because it doesn't make any sense.
Well, why would he betray the interests of his own organization? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe he acknowledges, and it's not just Minister Farrakhan. As early as 1937, when Beynon did his report on the Nation of Islam, and when he was talking to early followers, they also said that he was going by he was always also going by the alias Professor Ford as well. And back to the 1970, just really quickly, the 1917 draft card. Yeah, it mentions FARD and in parentheses FORD. So you're basically saying it's just
I don't know about that.
Wait,
that don't make sense.
The 1917 draft
registration. So if it says FARD and then it's saying FORD, what's that mean? Because Ford don't mean Ford. So why would it do that?
Alam, can you verify that the 1917 draft registration card says exactly
No, I've seen that. And I know what you're talking about, but I'm saying, why would that, if it says Ford and then going to Ford, that doesn't make sense.
That's easy, because that's his alias that he used. And let me pull it up so that everyone can see this real quick. Yeah, that's not, I thought you were going to something more profound than that. Yeah, that's a pretty easy one. The name Wallie. So you're basically saying that that there was somebody in Los Angeles whose name was Wallie D. Ford, and who also went by FARD. And he was also born on February the 26th, and he was from Afghanistan, the same place that on Ugan Ali's draft registration card, he also said he was from Afghanistan. And
Ugan Ali?
Yeah, Ugan Ali's draft registration
card. We know he wasn't from Afghanistan.
Well, I know
Farrakhan Muhammad never claimed he's from Afghanistan. And again,
where did he get that idea from?
Who?
Where would why would Ugan Ali of all places? Why would he say Afghanistan?
I can't answer that.
Okay, well, we'll let any objective person hearing that, but look at this draft registration card for everyone looking. So what Shaune is basically saying is that there was also somebody named Wallie D. Ford who also called himself who also spelled his name.
Farrakhan Muhammad's name wasn't Wallie D. Ford though. So that's irrelevant.
He went by Professor Ford. That's according to
that's hearsay, bro.
Minister
you don't have empirical evidence of none of that. You're going off hearsay.
And also the arrest report from 1932.
What arrest report?
I'm sorry. Also the arrest report from 1933 that Alam just mentioned. That also says he went by the name Ford. That says the same thing. And that's not the only evidence that he was also in Detroit. There's the Ford was in Detroit. There's also sorry, Alam, go ahead.
Okay, let me clarify real quick for Brother Shaune. The sources that he's mentioning. So,
okay.
There's two different arrest records in Detroit for.
I'm aware of them. I've seen the one that says because it's in what's his name, AK Arian's book. I got it from him actually and looked it up. And again, I don't know if that's accurate because people could make that up. You could make up documents, bro. So I don't know if that's. But again, you can mix Ford and Ford up.
That's a document, by the way, that I've seen personally in Detroit. So that's not something that Carl Evans made up. That's something that I've seen personally in Detroit.
Let me say this. Let me say this, Shaune, real quick.
Go ahead.
There's two alleged bookings by the Detroit Police of Master Farad. The first one is in 1932. The second one is in 1933, right?
Yeah, May 25th, 1933. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So in that May 25th one, he mentions his alias Ford, exclamation mark, it says Ford. So that's the one source that we have that says for Ford, and then the other source that Anne's referring to is.
But hold on, let me interject because remember E.D. Beynon. Remember the FBI claimed they had got that Ford from him.
Yes.
So how
got his information from early interviews from early followers?
Huh? But y'all saying the Detroit police in Detroit in 1932 knew he was Ford.
He said Ford was one of his aliases.
Who said that?
Beynon, right? He was a scholar, right?
Exactly.
He published this journal in the year.
Okay. Yeah, I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so he published that in 1938.
Yeah.
And he said one of his aliases was Professor Ford.
Mm-hmm.
He also said, if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me, he said one of his aliases was also Wallie in that Beynon. I don't know if he said that in the Beynon.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, no, I don't know about
Well, okay. So, so Shaune, I don't think that he ever had a name alias for it. It can't be
No,
confirmed that
sir.
Farrakhan
Exactly.
did. Right.
No evidence of that.
There's
Yes,
no
sir.
evidence that
No
Master
evidence.
Farrakhan.
No evidence. No evidence. Exactly. Yes, sir.
Do you believe that he ever went by Wallie?
No.
No.
Well, Wally is an Arabic Wally, yes, which means it has a meaning to it. Not Wally is a Wallace.
WALI.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
So you acknowledge that he went by Wallie, WALI.
Exactly.
Not the
No,
other
sir.
The WALL.
The English version. Exactly. Yes, sir.
Okay. So Shaune, and so excuse me.
Yeah, I was just going to also mention that Elijah Muhammad also acknowledged that W.D. Farad was living in L.A. Until he's,
No, sir. He never said that.
In the California Eagle, he suddenly forgot. Also, in the same article, he mentioned that he went to the in Los Angeles.
No, sir. Show that to me. Show and prove that. That the messenger ever said that Master Farad Muhammad went to a university.
Wait, are you saying that Master Farad Muhammad never went to L.A.? That when he was living in California,
I'm exactly saying that.
So when he was living in California, the whole time, the whole 20 years he was living in California.
Who said he lived there 20 years?
Oh, according to the Beynon interview, according to interview with Sahib in 1951. Are you familiar with that interview?
I don't know if that interview is actually real.
Oh, well, in that interview, it's quoted in Sahib's interview that according to
No. I need you to show that from the messenger, sir.
It's according to a published report. Are you saying that
hearsay?
It's not hearsay if it's published. Sahib said
from the messenger, sir.
He is directly quoting it.
Exactly. You're going by hearsay.
Wait, it's a direct quote. That's not hearsay. That's a primary source.
Show and prove it.
That it's a primary source?
Show and prove. Yeah, show and prove.
Okay, look at Sahib's. Let me pull it up real quick.
Who is that?
For everyone who.
I have that book, but I don't know that's the messages in there because there's a lot of contradictory stuff in there. So it can't be from the messenger. So who to say that's him?
So you're saying that this you're saying that this report is that this article is forged? Or you're saying
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any evidence of it.
Okay, just so everyone's familiar with what we're talking about, let me just share it real quick. And if everyone listening, this is kind of a common pattern. It seems like Shaune is aware of the contradictions that what Elijah Muhammad said in this interview.
I'm aware of what you think is a contradiction.
What he says doesn't jive with what Elijah Muhammad later said. If anyone you could send a link to this interview to everyone listening. But this was something that Aiden Sahib, he interviewed Elijah Muhammad. He quoted Elijah Muhammad.
But how do you know he interviewed the best of Elijah Muhammad? That's my
did Elijah Muhammad?
You're going by what he wrote.
Did Elijah Muhammad
interviewed him?
Did Elijah Muhammad ever offer a rebuttal? Elijah Muhammad was alive for 20 plus years after this interview. And after this was documented, is there any record of Elijah Muhammad saying, "Hey, I never really what this guy is saying I said isn't true"? There's
never an interview him saying he interviewed with him. Period.
So again, you're saying that this interview was totally fake. That he never.
No, I didn't say it was fake. You're saying it's fake. I said I don't.
No, I'm saying this is real. Oh no! I'm saying this is real.
How do you know?
Because this is firsthand information, and this is what we call
from who
scholarly document. From who? Sahib, and Elijah Muhammad never denied this was an authentic.
How do you know that interview took place? It's like the interview they said Master Farad Muhammad had with Einstein. How do we know that took place?
I'm the one who proved that was fake. Actually, if you remember, Shaune.
But I'm saying, but I'm just saying,
just so common ground here, Shaune, just common ground. I remember we agreed with this one about how the interview with Albert Einstein was fake, and about how we got the original sources from Jidnu Krishnamurti and Mary Eddy Baker.
No, I don't remember that.
No, well, Shaune, you didn't.
I don't know. I ain't never heard of them. But
do you remember the quotes?
I knew it was fake automatically because I know Master Farad Muhammad.
But Shaune, but here's how it was proven to be fake. Now, you had a hunch, and your hunch in this instance was correct. But people who did the actual research, they looked back and they found the plagiarized information that whoever said that interview between Einstein and Farad happened, and found the actual sources that they were from books that predate 1930. So
I see.
okay, so this one right here, this interview, there's nothing like that. There's nothing plagiarized. And Elijah Muhammad passed in 1975, and this interview came out in 1951. So Elijah Muhammad, not one time, and it's not like a lot of this interview gives a lot of good insight. A lot of this interview gives a lot of insight to the early, information about.
Okay, but pardon me, but it's like what the messenger said. If he teaches one lie, everything's a lie. So if somebody has one lie in their stuff, I'm really.
Well, that's really unfortunate, Shaune, because Elijah Muhammad told us in the interview. He told us in the interview that he gave to Ms. Simmons with the California Eagle. He said that if we want to find the picture if we want to find the real picture of W.D. Farad, then we need to go to the federal government or we need to go to the Detroit Police Department. Why would Elijah Muhammad say that? And when we do, we get the picture that Elijah Muhammad denied was him. So Elijah Muhammad didn't have. He told us to go to
that's from the FBI file. I don't have no actually evidence the messenger said that either. But
even Wesley Muhammad quoted that interview, and that interview was quoted in the California Eagle.
Who did you say? Who did you say?
Even Wesley Muhammad cited that.
And he with Lewis and them. So they say a lot of things that ain't true. So I don't know what that is. But
did you also, Shaune? Do you also not think that Elijah Muhammad had children other than with Clara? Do you think that like Ishmael's not really?
Of course, I don't believe that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to hear just his.
We can get we could definitely get into that.
Oh no, I just want everyone to understand the craziness of this. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let me jump in real quick here.
Yes, sir.
Start to say regarding the sources type of thing, right? So you believe the newspapers, right? And because you believe the newspapers.
Well, that's common sense. I mean, who can deny that?
Yeah, you can't deny it, right? Because it's a newspaper that went
exactly.
And then it's been in the public record ever since they put out the newspaper. Given that, I want to clarify. I'm not going to try to jump in this debate right now, but I want to clarify its point that Beynon source from 1938 is a verifiable, quote unquote, just for the debate right here. It's a verifiable source, right? Because it's been published since 1938.
Verifiable by who?
Well, it's been out there in the public record since 1938.
How come Elijah Muhammad never offered a rebuttal saying, hey, I never said this stuff this guy's quoting me as saying. This guy's lying on me.
He had too much
scholarly published resource.
Obviously, he had too much to do. As you see, he was building the nation. That man was busy. He ain't like, I mean, come on. That man had.
That's not an excuse. He was offering to argue to defend his point.
Well, he said take it or leave it. He gave the rebuttal that Masbara Muhammad was not Wallie D. Ford. He said if that was the case, you talking about a drug dealer who gets out of prison that same year, comes to Chicago the next year, not even a year, well, yeah, a year and a month or 2 months or whatever, and start teaching black people to get off pork, get a job, do better, not get a job, but do for yourself and do better and flourish. That don't make no sense. It just don't make any sense, man. I'm sorry. I mean, nobody would agree with this.
Okay,
it just don't make any sense.
Well, a lot of people agree with it. It's Nation of Islam members who don't. And if you think again, who would have the biggest incentive to deny this? A religious leader who claims to be the messenger from God, who instructs followers to kill him if he ever.
But you gotta remember, bro.
Shaune, just really quick. No, if you don't mind, because then say. I mean, a religious leader who instructs followers to kill him if he ever betrays him. He has a significant incentive to lie or manipulate the truth when he's faced with a bombshell story that exposes him. Just a couple.
What exposed him? Hold on. What exposed him?
The 1963 story that exposed the mugshot of Ford. That he said that he denied was
exposed him.
Yes, and what he said after that is when he gave the interview with Miss Simmons, he said a lot of things that were for example, he strawmanned the article. Elijah strawmanned by demanding that Montgomery in the paper produce Ford as if he was in their custody.
Exactly. Why would you produce the man? You trying to say
that's a strawman? He never claimed that he even existed. He didn't even say that he. If you read the original Montgomery article,
No.
he
The
concedes
government is saying he exists.
No,
That's the problem.
I'm talking about, Shaune, I'm talking about the article that Elijah Muhammad gave after the bombshell story, after the Montgomery article came out with. Elijah Muhammad said, well, produce him if he's really there, as if the Montgomery story said that he even existed since 1934
All right,
in the first place.
Bring
That's
him
called
out.
a straw man. No,
Who is that?
But that's called a straw man because they never
How's that a
existed.
straw man? He exists,
They never existed because they never claimed that he existed by 1963 in the first place. They said in the original article he hadn't been seen since 1934.
Who gave them the information, bro?
I'm talking about the article. I'm talking about the Montgomery article clearly said.
Why are they even bringing that out? That's what I mean.
No, you're not answering. You're totally deflecting. You're not.
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not.
Yes, you are. The reason it's a straw man, and you're not answering this. The reason it's a straw man.
I'm not answering, bro.
Because the article said, the Montgomery article said that he hadn't been seen since 1934. You agree?
Exactly.
Okay, so so if the article is
he hasn't been seen by the public.
Listen, no. If the article is saying that Farad hadn't been seen since 1934, then why is Elijah Muhammad setting up a standard that even the article says is unmeetable? Elijah Muhammad is strawmanning them by telling them to produce a man, which the article says he hasn't even been seen since 34 anyway. That's why it's a straw man.
But isn't the article saying he's the God? He's Masfar Muhammad?
No, the article is exposing his criminal life in California.
But who's saying that
he hadn't been seen since 34? Okay, so my question is, why would Elijah Muhammad demand that they bring him forward in 1963 when the article said that he hadn't even been seen since 34 anyway? The article never even made the claim. Now, Shaune, this is what a straw man is. A straw man is attacking.
I understand what a straw
never
man
even made. So the article never even made the claim that.
But the article is claiming Masfar Muhammad is this man. We don't believe that.
Which hadn't been seen since 1934. So why would
he hasn't been seen by the public since 1934?
So why would he tell him to bring him forward if the article is conceding?
Exactly. Prove your case. Prove your case. You saying it's Masfar Muhammad?
But he's setting up a non-falsifiable position. In holding a non-falsifiable position, logical. Yes, it is.
That this is Masfar Muhammad. That's all to it, bro. We don't want to hear all that extra shit.
Well, there's of course the photo.
That's Masfar Muhammad. That's all to it.
Well, there's of course a photograph.
Why can't they prove it?
And there's when Shaune, you got to listen now. And there's also when Hazel Ford came forward and Elijah Muhammad didn't even put the money in an escrow account though.
How you know that?
So because in 1965,
you going by what somebody said, right?
Listen. I'm answering your question because in 1965, Montgomery did a follow-up article, and there was no rebuttal to that. So he got the last word, and Elijah Muhammad didn't even address it after that. Elijah Muhammad didn't put the money in an escrow account, and that proves that he didn't even intend on giving any money away in the first place. Now, just so everybody knows, indicating Elijah Muhammad not putting the money in an escrow account, that implies a lack of sincerity or commitment to the challenge, because without placing your funds in an escrow account, there's no guarantee that you get the $100,000 or that it will be available if the challenge is successfully met. And this lack of a financial backing, it should raise the doubts of an individual's intentions, and it really should be seen also as a red flag as well. One specific example is like in the 1960s, there was a Bobby Fischer. He offered $100,000. He put it in an escrow account. Warren Buffett, he put his money in an escrow account when he made challenges. Same thing with Elon Musk. A person who didn't put his money in an escrow account when challenged was Mike Pillow, Mike Lindell. Now, Hazel Barton did come forward with evidence of a son after Elijah Muhammad categorically denied that W.D. Farad had children, as if Elijah would know anyway. He didn't even meet W.D. Farad until 1931. So Hazel comes forward with evidence, and anyone who's seen a picture of Wallace Max Ford, he's an absolute spitting image of W.D. Farad. And all the available public photos that we have.
He might be a spitting image of Wallie Ford.
Elijah Muhammad. No, same person. And we showed the photographs, and they're obviously the same person. Same
That's opinion, bro.
Just compare the ears.
You don't have evidence of that. You don't have no empirical evidence.
We have less than a minute left. We have less than a
That's
minute
the beautiful thing about this.
Yes.
But everybody's
And
going to see
also
soon.
the Hearst got the last word. Elijah
Go ahead.
Muhammad didn't even refute it or didn't even bother refuting it.
He did refute it. I have the evidence of that.
In 1965, Montgomery got the last word. Elijah Muhammad dropped it, and he didn't even, again, he didn't put his money, he dropped it. He didn't bring it up after that happened anyway. He absolutely dropped it.
Well, you weren't even born. How you know?
Again, because thanks to documents, we have all the public records.
Okay, I don't know where we left off at, but
okay, yeah. Well, I was making just a couple points about some stuff that Elijah Muhammad was saying in that interview that happened. Wait, hold on. Alam, are you recording? Or wait, hold on. Just give me 1 second. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if. Oh, sorry about that. I was looking at something. Just a couple days after he gave the story drop, the interview that he gave with Miss Simmons, Elijah Muhammad claimed that he had lots of pictures of WD Farad. Well, great, release them then. That would put a rest to it that day, but he didn't. That's not only a red flag; that's a red banner. He claimed that he had lots of photos of WD Farad. He said he'd give her one, but he didn't. Why? There's still a weird reluctance to release early Nation of Islam historical stuff. Shaune, you could laugh, but Shaune, are you familiar with?
No, I'm laughing, bro, because you don't understand.
Shaune, are you familiar with the 1917 auction?
1917 auction?
I'm sorry, the 2017 auction that about some of the early Nation of Islam documents.
Yeah, the ones they supposedly found in John Muhammad's.
Right. So there's like a weird reluctance to release early Nation of Islam historical stuff. And there's a weird reluctance.
It is released. It's actually it's supposed to be in Farrakhan in the museum.
Yeah, there's been some disputes, about that, like the 2017 one. But if Elijah Muhammad had plenty of photos, like he claimed, then he could have just finished it off that week and said, "This is clearly not the same person." And here's a half dozen.
Well, see, bro, it's like knowing somebody who is somebody, and somebody and somebody else is trying to tell you who this person is. What can you do? You can say all. Huh?
He claimed he had lots of photos. He could have released a photograph. If he said he had lots of them, then why didn't he give one to her so that she could have published it in the California Eagle by saying, "See, Elijah Muhammad gave me this photograph right here."
I don't even know that interview exists. I never heard of that interview.
See, here we go again. So for the listeners to hear that Shaune just doesn't believe anything just that doesn't fly with what he's saying. So he told this lady in the interview, and the California Eagle quoted this interview.
Misrepresent my position. I didn't say that.
Okay, so Elijah Muhammad said he had lots of
evidence.
Photos.
Like aren't you an atheist? Don't you need evidence?
So Elijah Muhammad said he had lots of photos. Why didn't he release any of them?
How you gonna ask me that? I'm not him. I don't know.
I'll let the audience decide that one as well.
So, but that's a logical fallacy.
So just again,
but that's a logical fallacy.
Elijah Muhammad. So I want the logical people to hear this. So Elijah Muhammad gets a story, and it has a photograph of a person that Elijah Muhammad says, "This is not him. This is not the founder of the organization." And Elijah Muhammad says, "And I have lots of photos of him." So why wouldn't he release any of those photos to prove once and for all that man really wasn't him?
The messenger is founded on that and was making logical, rational sense.
No, he was not. He strawmanned Montgomery. Remember that? He strawmanned.
I don't know about Montgomery.
Also, he gave bad arguments too.
But pardon me, it was somebody else. I forgot the guy's name. It started with an S. It was like almost like a German name. He accused of Master Muhammad of being Wallie Ford too, and the messenger showed and proved, or basically gave his rebuttal. How would a drug dealer come here and make us better?
Wait, you'd have to be more specific than what you're talking about. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but just what I'd have to know what you're talking about officially.
Well, it's in a small book of the messengers, and he was just basically rebuttaling that this guy who's saying I can't remember his name. It started with an S though. Yeah. He was claiming Master Muhammad was a drug dealer from California, and the messenger was saying, "Well, we're not here selling drugs. We're here trying to
Oh,
make
you're
our
talking
people
about
better.
the September 1972 Theology of Time lecture. Now, that was really interesting because
No,
Elijah Muhammad.
No, it was not in. It was not in Theology of Time. I don't know what you're talking about, but what I'm talking about is not in Theology of Time. It was in another. Okay.
Yeah, I could get the exact date for it in just a second. But yeah, it was the Theology of Time lecture during the question and answer period where somebody asked him about. Now, this is interesting that you bring this up because Elijah Muhammad.
Too. That's another one. But I'm talking about something totally different from this. You got to like you said, Master they put out in '63 that Master Muhammad was this supposed drug dealer named Wallie Ford. So of course people gonna come at the Nation of Islam with this type of information, and it was on more than one occasion.
Again, could you give me a reference of what specifically you're talking about?
Yeah, I have to. I have to look at the book. I have to find the book exactly, and I can send it to Lon. But I don't know if I could do it while I'm on Zoom right now. But if I can, I can try it. If I get cut off, I come back to the thing. Huh?
There's something else.
If you send it to me after this, I'll edit it back in when I put the video on. So
There's something else I want to bring up, and I hope you guys can see the screen here. There's Edward Donaldson, and this is another link that's that a lot of independent historians and scholars have been studying, and this is his connection. Now, anyone who's familiar with this, you're familiar with this story about Wallie Ford. Here's some of the original articles from Wallie Ford, W.D. Farad getting arrested with at Donaldson, and here's some of the original newspaper articles from L.A., Los Angeles, a city that Elijah Muhammad confirmed that W.D. Farad lived in until he suddenly forgot. And here's another one, Wallie Ford, a well-known petty politician.
Pardon me. You said Master Muhammad lived where?
In Los Angeles.
What did the message say that?
Again, we already went through this with the Sahib. You don't believe interviews that contradict what he later said. We will let the audience decide that. And also, yes. Yeah.
Let me jump in here because the California point is interesting, right? So you guys are both arguing different things. Let me ask you this, Brother Shaune.
Yes, sir.
Master Farad obviously claimed through the messenger Elijah Muhammad, he told us that Master Farad lived in California and he went to a university out there.
The University of California in Berkeley. That's North California. I got plenty of family in LA. That's nowhere near them.
Okay. So he went to the University of say that again?
Of Southern California. Didn't he say?
No. Not the Southern California, University of California.
Okay. So the whole 20 years. So he had he ever been in Los Angeles?
I can't say. I don't know that.
So he'd never been in the major city the whole time he'd been out there. Again, let's let the audience decide. Yeah, let's let the audience decide. And
the audience can make conjecture. That don't mean it's right though.
Let's let the audience decide whether the 20 years he was in California, whether he'd ever been to LA. So, right. So take a look here. Shaune, can I please give let me just finish this point. Edward Donaldson, this is the guy that Wallie D. Farad got arrested with. And here's some of the documents. Here's some of the pictures that have been shown. Wallie D. Ford. And also here's the June 12th photograph that says he was from Oregon. Now, interestingly, in the 1930 decennial census in Illinois, William Farad mentions his national origin, or mentions his origin of in Oregon. Now, everyone knows that February 26th is the date that, of course, the Nation of Islam celebrates the birth of Master Farad Muhammad. It's also the birth date, interestingly, of Edward Donaldson. Now, there's plenty of documents that prove this. There's plenty of documents that have been unearthed. And again, I'm inviting everyone listening to this to also be part of this. Help out. The more people on this, the better. There's unearthed documents still out there. Here's some of Edward Donaldson, which prove absolutely the link that he has with the founder of the Nation of Islam. Edward Donaldson, his birth date is February the 26th. It's listed on several documents that are public. Here's just a couple of them applying from prison for a government land grant. The government decided basically to give some land in return for some of their atrocities. And Edward Donaldson listed his birthday as February the 26th. This is Edward Donaldson's World War II draft registration card. He listed his birthday as February the 26th. Also, here's Edward Donaldson's death certificate, listed his birthday as February the 26th. This proves unequivocally a link between Wallie Ford and Master Farad Muhammad.
That's what you believe? So why wasn't Edward Donaldson ever interviewed?
They tried interviewing him, they couldn't find him, and they tried interviewing him. They tried interviewing him. He
died in L.A. in the 80s.
Yep, he died in L.A. in 1980, and they didn't. They didn't find him. They tried tracking him down, and they closed the investigation.
Yes, sir.
I've been asking that question myself. I mean,
exactly.
I think it was more who put in.
Oh yeah, it's an atrocity that they didn't find him.
Well, maybe because they know that Wallie D. Ford ain't Master Farrakhan Muhammad.
Well, we have the documents showing.
Or maybe it's because they're dumb devils and they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, no, they not dumb.
Well, they made a lot of mistakes in their initial investigation. I could list a whole bunch of dumb things that the FBI did.
Well, that's the agents. I'm talking about the powers that be.
Well, yeah. I'm talking about the mistakes they made. Nevertheless, Edward Donaldson's birthday in a bunch of public documents says February the 26th.
I understand that, but I don't know that. So
yeah. So again, here we go. Another public document. Sean, these are public documents that people have found.
Again, bro, just because you could call that a coincidence, but I don't. Again, I don't. That don't have no correlation.
Sure. But again, we'll let the audience decide if it's a coincidence.
Yeah, that's fine.
Edward Donaldson's birthday is that. We'll also say it's a coincidence. What do you think about how Master Farad Muhammad, as Wallie Dodd Ford, listed his mother's name as Babbjie on his 1924 marriage certificate with Cameron Fervino?
What's that mean? Because the messenger never taught that Master Farad Muhammad's mother's name was Babbjie.
Oh, really? So you don't think that Master Farad Muhammad's name? So you don't think that Master Farad Muhammad's mother's name was Babbjie?
No, I don't believe that.
Okay. Once again, we will let the audience. There's so much counter evidence to this.
Oh yeah.
A great point right here, right? So,
okay,
Brother Shaune, he's saying he only believes the messenger, which I understand totally.
Most definitely.
But we have Mr. Elijah Muhammad's brother named John Muhammad, who confirmed. I have a video up on my YouTube channel.
I heard it myself. That don't mean he's right.
So what did he make that up from?
I don't know. I don't know why he's doing that. He did he say Master Farad Muhammad was talking about getting married?
Right. All
right. So come on, man. This is the same man who's supposed to destroy America. How you being married? So that's what I'm saying. All this stuff out here that's out here, man. I don't pay attention to all that. If it ain't come from the messenger, I ain't buying, man. That's the case. I can make up my own stuff.
I'm going to let the audience say. So it's basically a whole bunch of documentary. It's just to end this. And Shaune,
the same audience that believes a immaterial God is out here doing things, bro.
Okay, you're diverging from the historical question about W.D. Farad being Ford. What you're doing is you're dismissing any evidence coming from documents that disprove.
No, I'm being logical, bro. You're
not being logical by dismissing evidence that's out there from primary sources, such as
you don't want to believe Master Farad Muhammad is God, bro. That's all. Just keep it real. And I understand. I wouldn't want to believe if I were you either.
Okay, so we're gonna get to. Okay, so there's a couple other. So there's a couple other things that were mentioned also. So there was a claim back in the photograph claim that he made in the Hearst, or that he made after the Hearst paper got published, and he didn't produce any other photographs. What were you saying about that again, Shaune? Why didn't he release any photographs?
Well, for one, again, I don't know if that was accurate. That interview was supposedly. Never heard about that. Because of course we could get transcripts or something like that, or hear it from the messenger. So I never heard anything like that.
Have you ever read the California Eagle argument that the interview was based off of?
Yeah, I've only seen that in FBI files. I never seen that nowhere else. That's my point. And
they directly quoted from it in there.
That's what I'm saying. So where is it? Well, I can see it though from the direct source.
Well, again, Wesley Muhammad, he even quotes that interview in his book. He quotes the interview in that book, and the interview, he says some questionable things in there as well. He says that if we want to get the picture of Wallace Farad, then what we should do is we should ask the Detroit Police Department and ask the federal government. Now, why would Elijah Muhammad direct us to go to the federal government or go to the Detroit Police Department if we wanted a real photograph of Master Farad Muhammad? Then when we go there, we get the picture of the person who Elijah Muhammad denies is him.
Yeah, I understand. And like Wesley said in his book, that was a false. That was I don't know what they're doing. Why they're doing that?
But why would Elijah Muhammad? Elijah Muhammad is the one who directed us to go there.
I understand
Elijah
that.
Muhammad is the one who said.
He said the messenger said that too. That's what prompted him to do. And when he did it, he got the picture of Wallie Ford. So that's a plot or a ploy to make it look like this is the man who's Master Farrakhan Muhammad. We know that's not him. And they know that's not.
So Elijah Muhammad was fooled then. So Elijah Muhammad was fooled into telling us if we want to find out who this guy really is, then go to the FBI or go to the Detroit Police Department.
He's showing and proving that the FBI in the Detroit Police is the fraud.
Well, if you look at what he said in the interview,
I've seen what he said in the interview. I'm just saying. So if you're going, so it's like me telling somebody to go to this person because they got this whatever. So they go to the person. I know the person know they have this, but they give the person I sent to them the wrong thing to be deceptive. So that's what we're trying to say. The government is deceptive. Huh?
You were trying to say what? Say that again.
Again, like if I'm telling somebody to go get something that I gave someone, and I'm telling them directly what it is, they go to this person, they get the opposite of what I told them to get. But the person really has what I gave them, but they're giving that person something else to deceive them. That's basically what we're trying to say. That's
Elijah Muhammad is the one. But Elijah Muhammad is the one saying that. Look at what he says here. He says, "I know him perfectly well, and we have pictures of him. And if they want to prove, then why don't they write and get this picture from the Detroit Police Court?"
Again,
we're trying to say that. So Elijah Muhammad. So what you're saying is Elijah Muhammad is being fooled.
No. Then
why would Elijah Muhammad tell us to go to that?
Because we're showing and proving that the government is deceptive by giving a false picture.
But Elijah Muhammad is saying that this picture is false, and if we want to get the real one, we should go to them.
Okay, so if they give you a false picture, I know what he said. I know
that means Elijah Muhammad got fooled. So why would Elijah Muhammad direct? Why would Elijah Muhammad direct people to go to someone that would give a false picture?
My premise, I don't know if the messenger said that, but according to what it's saying,
it says it right here. Everyone can read it right here.
Okay,
Shaune, answer this question. Why would Elijah Muhammad direct us? Why would Elijah Muhammad direct us to somebody who would give us a false picture?
Show me the original article.
It's right here.
You show me something from the FBI file. You show me something from the FBI file. Show me the original.
Once again, Shaune,
you don't have that.
You can tell.
It's like consumer law. I'm asking for the original contract.
Shaune concedes a point when he eventually tries to argue it, and when he has no argument left, he eventually taps out, says "uncle," and says it's a false document. I think that's been proven this past hour or so. Shaune tries to argue, and then when he has no argument left, when he's out of steam, he says,
"That's a straw man on me."
Anyway,
that's a straw man argument on me.
I'll let the audience decide.
Okay. So this is interesting.
Yes, sir, it is.
I'll let you. So let me ask you this, Shaune.
Okay.
So it happened in 1963, right? I think we saw this. Elijah Muhammad, he posted that. He put up the newspaper of the picture side by side. He said the phony and the safe. Right. He also said in this unverified, we'll put it quote unquote, because I'm not going to take a side for that. we say unverified interview he had that's mentioned in the FBI file. I don't know who it was with, but it was an interview. Mr. Elijah Muhammad, he said, I have several photos of Master Farrakhan Muhammad. So let's just say we have this attack coming out the Nation of Islam of, okay, this guy, Wallie D. Ford, here's his picture from wherever it came from, you say California or whatever, that's his picture. Why now would Elijah Muhammad not share these so-called photos that he had of Master Fawad Muhammad? Why would he not just put out the pictures? I mean, come on. You're the messenger of Allah. You've met with Allah in person. Master Fawad Muhammad, you've got to have pictures. Come on. He has pictures. Elijah Muhammad, you know he's got to have pictures of the Savior. So why would he not put out pictures, bro?
I mean, y'all asking the wrong person. I'm not him. I don't know.
I get it.
That's a great. But again, the people who know. Okay, look, I've heard y'all try to quote Wallace a couple of times on different things. Wallace, his son, right? Have y'all used any instant? Oh, y'all never did it? I thought y'all did before when y'all try to make it like he was Wallace. I mean, Wallie Ford or something about the hair and all that. Because Wallace don't believe Wallie Ford. In fact, he says Master Muhammad was from what was his name? Was Muhammad Abdul? Okay, so what y'all gotta say about that one?
Yeah, well, I think me, you, and Anton could respond right after this. Can testify that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's son, named so-called Warren Wallace D, is a liar, and he just be lying. And could you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree with it.
I never evoked his name.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, well part
again, we could we could let the audience decide.
But
documents are saying versus what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is saying.
But pardon me, Anton, you said that the messenger had these pictures. We know Wallace was there; he's seen them, but yet he never said Wallie D. Ford was Master Muhammad.
I never even brought up Wallace.
Well, I'm bringing it up though right now. I'm bringing it up.
Answer this though, Shaune.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
This question. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is getting all these attacks that this man, so-called man, safe man, is Master Farrakhan Muhammad, right? So you're the messenger. You have pictures, and you're claiming you got pictures. So all it takes to completely disprove Hazel Barton, the so-called wife of Master Farad, sending in documents trying to get this 100,000. Why would you not just put out the pictures?
Again, I can't answer that. And again, what would that do?
It's so obvious to anyone who's not a member. It's incredibly obvious to anyone who doesn't have like a non-questionable type of mentality when it comes down to this. If he had several photos like he claimed, he could have just cleared this up in a matter of hours. Look, it's not him. Here, end of story, blah, blah, blah. He didn't do that. He hoarded the photographs that he allegedly had of him. If he had any other, he claims that he had lots of them. So it's obvious why he didn't release any of them.
But again, you all are arguing a straw man because we don't even know that interview is true. So
Shaune, I don't think you know what a straw man is. That's not. First of all, that's not.
No. That's the straw man because that doesn't exist. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Go ahead. Let me jump in. Okay, so forget about this FBI file, right? FBI file is so-called interviews that might have happened, right?
Okay.
Let's just go off of what was happening at that time, verifiably in reality, based on the newspapers of Muhammad Speaks.
Okay.
This photograph came out. Mr. Muhammad, he put out in the newspapers that the savior, right? He had the picture in the picture. Let's forget about this FBI file that he claimed he had several photos. Me and you, Shaune, we can admit, right? In a time with God in person. Shadow deny this. I'm not going to talk about this. This is a separate topic, but you spend time with God in person, you're gonna have photos. Man.
Not really. I spend time with a lot of people, and they don't have they might not have a photo of me.
Okay, but listen, the messenger of Allah, right? And they put up these so-called close photos. I mean, you gotta have some type of photo.
What a Detroit Free Press?
That's a completely different person. You can see. I put out the photo. You can tell.
But the Detroit Free Press, to me, proved it. Because I haven't seen no other photos than other than those. And to me, the one with, especially when he's with Ugan Ali, and you can actually see his eyes and his hairline compared to the 1933 photo of Wallie Ford with a full straight hairline. Come on, man. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So you think personally? You think personally those are different people? Thank you.
Of course. Yes. Look at the eyebrow.
Bro.
Look at the eyebrows.
Listen though. Do you think that maybe they're related?
Related?
Oh my God,
no.
Shaune, you have to be honest with.
Matter of fact, show improve any empirical evidence of Wallie D. Ford being in Detroit or Chicago.
We gave you documents, but you say they were faked. Louis Farrakhan.
Who says they were fake?
You also think that Louis Farrakhan is a liar too, and is part of the plot that says that Ford is Farad.
This is the same man who says a Catholic priest has good work.
And again, 1938 Beynon article, he says that people he talked to early followers. They said Professor Ford. Again, all of that are just lies.
How you know that, bro? How you know they was early? It could have been a police. I don't know that.
So again, it's a published article that's never been refuted.
See, that's what I'm saying. You accuse me of doing
Elijah Muhammad never has refuted it. Elijah Muhammad never said that, this interview wasn't real. I never really said that. There was no official rebuttal at the time. And anything like that is out there, and Elijah Muhammad didn't even address it. Just like Montgomery got the last word.
He did address it. He said Master Muhammad went Wallie Ford.
And Elijah Muhammad dropped the issue, didn't even bring it up after that.
He said Master Muhammad won Wallie Ford. I mean, proof it.
Of course he's not going to.
His family was around.
Once again.
Y'all brought up John Muhammad.
Elijah Muhammad would have the biggest incentive. Elijah Muhammad would have the biggest incentive to say that it's not him. So of course he's going to say that. Could you, to everybody listening who is objecting, could you imagine a leader of an organization? Would a leader of an organization faced with this just say, "Oh yeah, you're right, you got me. Yeah, all of what I built upon is." Really? Will Elijah Muhammad say that? Of course, Elijah Muhammad is going to.
So you're trying to tell me
Elijah Muhammad
from California who sold drugs came here and made this man a millionaire?
We're talking about the history. I don't know about his motivations. I don't even know.
I mean, I don't even know if that's.
Hey, you know what, Shaune? For all I know, that case in 1926 could have been trumped up. For all I know, they may have been targeting him. I don't know that he's
targeting who.
I don't know if you bring up the fact that you bring up the fact that not everybody who gets caught for. So you're saying everyone who gets caught for drugs really did drugs? Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I'm saying that has nothing to do with the evidence. That has nothing to do with the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. That we're talking about a historical issue. We're not talking about a faith issue, and I want to make that clear. This isn't about faith. This is a historical matter. Does the history show that Wallace D. Ford is Wallace D. Farad? I think that the evidence from the documents, from the photos, from the genealogical records, I think is absolutely obvious that they're the same person. They not only look the exact same as you could say here. What Shaune would have to be saying, I mean, just take a look at what this says. You'd have to say it's a coincidence that there is two guys, the same height, weight, build, both in Chicago and Detroit at the same time. Both ate one meal a day. They both have the same hairline. They both, again, they have the Hazel Ford says so. We have the documents that, yeah, and Hazel Ford went forth with the evidence that Elijah Muhammad, who didn't put the escrow in.
Didn't he say Wallie Ford was 140?
You know that the San Quentin photographs.
5, 6,
And the San Quentin photographs say that he was 5'6". It says he was 5'6". Isn't that interesting once again? And again, I want the audience to take a look at this. A guy who's the spitting image. What Shaune is saying is that there's like an evil identical twin out there who's like the spitting image of him, who's just out there, they're just pretending to be him. And again, you can take a look. This guy here is clearly the same person who's in the 1932 Free Press. I'll let the audience decide for themselves.
Like I said, look at the hairline, man. 32 and 33. The hairline in 32 is way, the full line, the hairline in 33 is more.
I agree. I agree with Shaune. Look at the hairline specifically where I am. That is one big coincidence. They happen to have the same dip right here.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting, huh? Same dip in the same spot.
Like that too.
Right here?
It's more fuller in 33 than 32.
In which one?
The 33.
It depends how his hair was. It depends if his hair was slicked back or not. If your hair is slicked back, that's not gonna determine the difference between here, but it might determine the difference here. So thank you, Shaune. Great example, because at this picture it does look like his hair is slicked back. That's such a good example. Thank you. But now on the other hand, when your hair's slicked back, your hairline is going to look the same. And look at the face and look what Amazon recognition says, 99.4%.
I'm sure it will say that about anybody.
Sure, Shaune. Sure, Shaune. Mm-hmm.
So let's forget Bezos. Let's forget Bezos, folks. Let's just look at those two pictures, and if you want to go back to pictures. Guys, gentlemen, I gotta just wrap this up just in a couple minutes. I have to pick somebody up. If that's definitely. Go ahead and say your last words, and let's talk.
Oh, again, I think that the documentary evidence is really obvious. I think that the photographic evidence, I think that the unearthed files linking birthdays and linking photographic and linking a bunch of genealogical records proves that they're the same person. And I want to thank Shaune, and I also want to thank Alam and everyone listening. And I want to invite everybody listening to also look at some of the unearthed documents as well. A lot of new things are being digitalized. It's really fun. And thank you for everybody listening.
Most definitely, man. Respect.